Alright, let's try this again. This is about the fourth time I've started this video. These are all the new Samurai Edge models that I've done. There's the Wesker, Valentine, Redfield, and Burton. I'm also going to build the Burton in this video to kind of show how easy it is to put together, and also to demonstrate the water transfer decals, because I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people that say I can't peel these stickers off. Well, these aren't stickers, they're water transfer decals, which you'll have to cut right against around the edge of it, and then of course you'll put it in some warm water, and we'll go over that later. Anyways, this is the Wesker. I've gotten as many details as I can. Spring-loaded trigger, some magnet retention for the clip. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people say, why didn't you make the slides pull back and all that? There's a limitation of what you can squeeze inside of these frames and make them durable. I could make a spring-loaded slide. I actually even considered it. But in making decisions on what functions I can and can't put in, I have to consider the cost of hardware. You know, I don't want to have to make these kits astronomical or anything. I want to make them cheap as I can. But, you know, just the appropriate spring for the slide is almost $6 a piece. And that's just, you know, I have to balance that. And plus, if I make the slide movable, the bad part about the Beretta is the catch for the slide is all internal under the lip, where like a 1911 has the notch in it. And I can do a 1911 with a spring-loaded slide and stuff, but then there's also hardware to make the hammer movable, so it goes down when you pull the slide back. There's hardware to make the switch is actually movable to release the slide. It could all be done, and I am considering going back and making a few of my models like every function possible, but of course then the price is just higher because of hardware. And that's the Redfield, by the way. Same thing, spring-loaded trigger. It's hard to do this looking through the camera and stuff, but there's the same magnetic clip. This is the Valentine, Teen Time, whatever you want to say. Same removable clip, spring-loaded trigger. These decals actually come out freaking awesome. I did first put them on a clear transparent water slide decal, but the colors bled out when you put them on the background, like when you put them on top of your paint. And using the white background was the only way to keep them like vibrant colors. And once you're done painting and you assemble it and you put the decals on, you can actually go back, and I've already tested it, and hit it with a clear. That way you keep any of the decal from rubbing off or wearing off, and it comes out freaking awesome. Also, here's the visualizer that I ended up making, and I have to put it up, but I went through and got as many details as I could for it. But yeah, there's that. So I'm going to move these out of the way. Hopefully this video does not cut me off. And this is the Burton kit, which and the reason I chose to do the Burton for you guys is, one, because it's just big and cool. Two, because on this style grip that's on here, when you unscrew it, the grip will just slide off, and you can slide it right back on, because it's a solid, it's a one-piece construction that's connected back here to the sides, just like the actual one is. Burton's is different because his not only is connected in the back, but it's also connected around the front, where the finger molds, the rubber finger molds are. So it does go on differently. You actually just have to spread it. I'm just spreading it with my fingers and push it up on there, and then there's a part in the bag that actually will glue on, and it finishes the whole back, the wood part of the grip. Let me get this back off of here. Alright. And of course you get all the main parts and stuff, and let's get this open here. And I'm giving 4 decals with every gun because, well, we all screw up. Let's just put it that way. There's another bag in there that has the magnets for the clips, and then you have the small bag with the parts. So let's get this open. And the only difference in the parts between all the guns is of the Burton actually comes with a round socket head screw, which actually ends up going right there in the front. It's just, you know, it's there for looks. It's not actually a functional thing. But here, let me try to adjust this. Get my glue and a couple tools here, and that's about it, other than a marker, and I'll show you in a minute what we do with that, because I still make this screw up when I'm assembling models, and I've started doing this to help myself. Very first thing is, in the bottom of the slide there's a hole right here. That's actually where the hole where the spring will end up going once you have the gun together and you put it in through the trigger guard. And just to show you here, it's a tight fit. If you put the spring and just give it a little clockwise twist, and you'll see why I say clockwise, because if you try to take this out counterclockwise, it ain't going to come out. But you can twist it clockwise and go ahead and take it out. But this Bob Smith glue is really, really good glue. Let me move some of these guns and decals out of the way, because I am going to be spraying this stuff on my glue that helps make it set faster. Let me get Burton's decals out of the way. Alright. Basically on these guns, the first place I start is, of course yours will be all painted, but I just put some glue down here. Don't mind my shaky hands. I've had way too much caffeine today, and B12 and a little bit of everything. Basically there's 2 rails on the bottom. You can just push them together. You can use normal, like, and I always say thick super glue, just because the thick super glue gets to spread out in there more, and it makes a better grip than the thin stuff. And the thick usually takes just a little bit longer to set. Alright, that's done. Next thing I do is the barrel insert, and of course yours will be painted, but if it, you know, if I don't know, you want to assemble it without painting, whatever, there's a seam that's printed in pretty much all the parts, and I normally hide them as good as I can in certain places, but just put the seam facing down on this barrel. And also there's always some spots on here that you'll want to kind of test fit stuff before you paint, because you might want to give yourself a little bit more room so that everything, you know, because once you put paint on, it fills up. And by the way, the barrels don't normally fit that tight. All of these are my first prints of every one of these, the test prints, and there have been minor changes that have been made to loosen up tolerances, tighten up tolerances. I get a lot of questions like, why is there so much slack in the clip? Well, by the time you paint, primer, paint, and clear coat, there is not that much slack. And a lot of time, in other parts, it's just to replicate actual real gapping, like in the hammer and stuff. The hammer has a lot of gap in the real gun, because when it comes back, you're not, you know, you're not trying to hit that or anything. So next, this is the slide lock on a Beretta. And we'll just put that in there. And all these holes have tolerances already designed in for paint. So as long as you're not just a paint monger and you just put 42 thick coats on, everything will go together nicely once it's all painted and done. This is the right side safety. And I have already glued one of these on backwards and upside down. Well, not backwards, I guess. Yeah, turn backwards, whatever. So now that these are in, let me... I'm almost out of set. And this stuff right here, it causes the glue to basically instant set. It doesn't, well, I mean, you of course these will be painted, but if you ever need to glue something on before painting, when this all evaporates, it doesn't leave a residue that affects paint or primer. Not that I have ever found. And I'm really blowing to get the Insta-Set under the part to go ahead and get to the glue and get it to set good, not to actually try to cure the glue. And we'll do the rear sight real quick. Make sure I put this on the right direction because I've screwed this up once already. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the Burton had a really weird sight when I was looking at all the reference material. And actually could never find a sight, a real life sight that had these weird cuts and lines in it, but whatever. Get in here and we will do the hammer. I should have filled my bottle up before I started this video. I used a lot of that crap. Alright, so there's the hammer. It's in. So let's just turn it over and go ahead and do the right side safety. Switch. And it goes in there just like that, nice and somewhat straight. Now, this piece is also included. It's included in all the other ones. It's really not necessary to put it in the Burtons because when you put the muzzle brake on, it covers it anyways, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in. And just so you know, this is a separate part, simply so I could have a nice flat surface to print to plate, so that I could do what I always like to do, and that is to I like to print everything standing up. I hate top and bottom edges. Hate it. I don't like the steps in it. Some things are unavoidable. You get some stepping here where it comes up around the curve and a little bit there, but that all normally smooths right out when you paint or prime or whatever. This is the little finish piece that goes on the back once you put your grip on. Here, I'll try to show you like this. Anyways, I can't really hold it there without the body being there, but that's the finished piece that goes on there. My friend Michael at Fanfiction Props, I sent him all the versions and painted. He normally ends up doing my painting for my pictures and stuff because I literally have no time or space really because of printers and all kinds of other junk to really sit down and do painting. Plus it gets him some free ones. Plus he also makes holsters that go in conjunction pretty much with all my models. He pretty much makes a holster that fits everything that I make. And then this dude, see, you can't slide it right up like the others because of that. So if you spread it and lock it in, you have your Foregrip screws. Let me grab the right end. All right, there's one. And I'll answer a question I get asked a lot. I don't see any threads in these holes. Yeah, you're not going to print threads this small and they'd be worth a crap. What you actually get for a more functional thread is if when you're doing a design and you make the hole a slight bit smaller than what it needs to be, and put a chamfered edge on the hole so when it prints it has a chamfered edge, which allows the screw to set in the hole, and when you turn it, it instantly bites. Turn it in, you've now created your threads, and they're way stronger than printed threads ever thought about being. Okay, let's put this other back piece on. And man, I sat for hours trying to figure out a way. I even split the front so that the front, gosh dang it, rubber guard, like the rubber finger guards, this whole section on a real set of guns, this rubber piece all comes off. Well, in doing that, it ends up making the wood grip sides really way too thin. And then I did do it that way, and I actually have a test one, but then you have to bow this out so far to get it over the grip, to get it to pop down in here. Just really can't replicate the easy bending rubber. But anyways, you can see from Michael's pictures that he did that are on my website and on the listing that it comes out looking beautiful. So, and if you just glue it to here and not to here, if you ever need to, for whatever reason, take your grip off, you can. Same thing comes off, this piece will stay. All right, and then we'll go ahead and put the muzzle brake on. Oh, that's just awesome. There's something about a big old muzzle brake on a gun that just looks freaking phenomenal. I put glue even in places that I know it's not going to hit, because just for giggles, that one time you put something on and you put glue right in only the places you know it's going to hit, and for whatever reason it doesn't bond very well. If you put it just everywhere, it's going to bond. So, all right, there's that. That's kind of set up, and there's your little orange tippy to put on to, you know, be compliant with the law. I'm going to go ahead and put the screw in the end here. Let me back that up. It's a little high to go in there, and bam, there you go. Also, just to show you guys, this little set right here, I have about, I don't know, 10 of these sets laying all over my office here, out in my shop, everywhere. They're cheap. They're from Harbor Freight. I think they're like $6, $7, $8, something like that. The bits will wear out because I seem to use the same 3 or 4 bits, and that's it. You will wear them down. Let's get the trigger in here. All right, now the hole that I showed you in the slide, and I'm trying to look, I think you can kind of sit down in there, But the whole thing you're wanting to do is to put that in the hole and give it that little twist. So now it's hung in there. And it's a tight fit in the trigger too. But if you just kind of put the trigger on there and kind of waller it, wiggle it, waller it, whatever your choice of jiggly words are. All right. And now that I've put myself in a situation where I can't really let go, haha. Go ahead and screw. By the way, this is a set screw. I get asked all the time by customers, hey, you sent me a screw without a head. And I know not everybody's familiar with a set screw, so I just take it with a grain of salt and explain to them, no, it's a set screw. You have to have an Allen wrench to put, or an Allen bit, wrench, you know, whatever it is that you want to, that you have to put it in. And you will want to screw that all the way in. Bam. And I screwed it way too close to the side. There we go. There. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah. All right. The next, last thing as far as assembly goes is the thing that I have screwed up plenty of times and went to slide my locking magnetic retention things together and they push apart. That sucks so bad. Anyways, so I have started doing this, and because I have black Sharpies everywhere, this is the black to the back method. I just leave the two together, put a cloth of glue in there, leave two together, push it, get it set, slide the other one off. And so the black went to the back on that. So same thing. Yeah. Black to the back. And some of y'all might be going, oh, that's kind of stupid. Who would glue their magnets in opposing forces? I would. And a lot of people have. And you want to talk about a pain to try to get that magnet back out? I actually have one of my Beckett guns I designed that when you flip the barrel open, it'll shoot the clip at you instead of you having to pull the clip out. Alright, so that's pretty much set. I'm not going to put the orange tip on because all these are going to go on my gray wall, as I call it, because every model I make, I have a display wall that's nothing but unpainted models because I don't have time to paint. And, whoop, I forgot. On this one, once you do painting and stuff, these screws, if you look down in there, they kind of protrude. But once you paint, and I actually over tightened them a while ago when I was putting them in, and I meant to loosen them up, but once you set them where they're supposed to be, now you have a clip that is in there magnetically and is not going to come out. Those are super strong clips, but that's just one badass gun. I absolutely love this Burton gun. I love all the guns, but this Burton gun is it's just cool as can be. Okay, let's see. Yep, damn, we're up to 24 minutes on this. All right, well, let's see if we can't just do this quickly. And I'm kind of trying to hurry, so if I screw this up, y'all will have to forgive me. I'm the one that'll have to live with it sitting on my wall over there. So, gosh dang it. Some people are like, why don't you make them stickers? because I don't have a way to make stickers. I have a way to make water transfer decals, but I don't have a way to make stickers. And I've done this both ways. I've used a razor blade and all that good crap, and these are actually my cutlery scissors from my kitchen because these suckers are razor sharp. I got a new set of knives, and when I opened them up, I was like, oh, those are pretty cool scissors. Thought they were like the black ones and stuff that you see, the kitchen ones and stuff. And I ran my finger down those freaking blade right there. Yeah. For a week I was reminded how sharp that is. There's a little boogery. What I do, because see there's a white edge because it's paper and stuff, is I take this Sharpie and just go around the edge of it. I'm stretched arm here, so I'm trying to do this in a decent manner here. But anyways, if you black the edge like this, and when you wet this and slide it off, your edge will be black, and you don't have to worry about white showing if you left a little white behind, or even if you didn't leave white behind, the edges are white because it's white paper that's under there. Okay. Let's see. I've already got some warm water over here. The thing is, it's warm water, not cold water, not hot water. It's just warm. About body temperature, room temperature, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to put boiling hot water. And I'll let go of it. Anyways, you're going to leave it set in there for, I don't know. You'll leave it sitting there to where when you pick it up, you can have it sitting on your finger and use your thumb and kind of move it, and you'll feel it sliding around on the backing, which it's probably ready. So here, well, let me do some fishing. See if I can do this without totally screwing my decal up. Haha. Yeah, and it's ready because it started sliding off. All right. Anyways, so your stuff's all painted. Where's the top of this? Stars. Take it, slide it off the paper, and don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfect when you slide it off because you can move it around a bit. Let me grab a paper towel. Now when you dab this, don't dab the whole thing. Dab off to the side, and all you're trying to do is keep it where you want it and just kind of dab it a little bit on one side while holding the other side, and that will help get it down and get the water out from underneath it. And that's it. Literally, that's it. Let it dry. Once it's dry, hit it with some clear coat. That's my sound effects right there. And once the clear is dry, I mean, it's there. I mean, it's there as long as your paint job is. So, maybe even a couple little coats of clear, because that's where you're going to be handling it. But hopefully I've answered some questions that I've had a lot lately, or I've always had, and I just keep answering, and maybe that'll answer a few of them. But yeah, I know it took forever to finally get this video out and get the listing up, but Halloween ran all up on me, and it just wore us out, and we finally shipped the last orders yesterday that were going to be classified, I guess, as Halloween orders. People will be rushing to paint, I know that. But yeah, so there's, bam. I still got to do the other side of the decals. Let's get some more in here. There we go. So there is some serious stuff right there. Oh, and you know what? Actually, real quick, this is the Wesker flashlight. So it only fits the Wesker. It will not fit the Jill. Jill, this style gun had a completely different type of rail on it. It will not fit the Burton. So yeah, what I just said, it's clearly Wesker only because it is Wesker. There's stars on it and all that, and there's knobs in there, and then there's the 3 switches and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyways, appreciate it, guys.